And we are back with another battle report with the Ultramarines having a rematch with the Salamanders. So just some tiny list modifications made for the Ultramarines, nothing too major. Biggest thing being I switched up some psychic powers with Tigurius, so it's at 2,000 points in a battalion. I have Tigurius and a captain. Tigurius has Scryers, Gauge, Precognition, and Hero's Might for powers. The captain just has a bolt pistol and a chainsword. I know he has a power sword there. And he has the sanctioned Iron Halo. I think that's what it's called. It's the one that gives a 3-up invul. And then he is a chapter master. I took that stratagem, and also the other stratagem that gives me an additional warlord trait. So I have the warlord trait Adept of the Codex, and the other one is Storm of Fire. So I'm going to be seeing if my little fire base could dump out some extra damage. With that, moving into the elite slot, I have 5 Stern Guard here, all with Combi-Meltas. 5 company veterans, all with plasma rifles. 2 drop pods that they are going to be in. Then we have 5 assault marines with a flamer and a power axe plasma pistol. A razorback, a twin link las cannon. With a tactical squad here with a Combi-Melta on the sergeant, a Melta and missile launcher. 5 scouts with camo, cloaks, and sniper rifles. We'll see if they can make it past turn 1 this game. Rhino with another 10-man team with Combi-Plasma, Plasma, and missile launcher. Heavy support slot, I have 5 Devastators, 2 plasma cannons, 2 las cannons, 3 Centurion Devastators. They have the twin las cannons. I'm going to be proxying them for this. And they have the Centurion chest missile launchers. And a Predator with twin link las cannon and 2 las cannon sponsons. That is 2,000 points of Ultramarines.
Alright, we got 2,000 points as Salamander successor here. Running for my Agents of Imperium, I got the Vindicare Assassin, and it's actually mine. I don't actually borrow it this time. I got it from a cool store called Lancelot down in Bridgewater, so if any of you guys are in the area, stop by and support them. For my HQs, I got the Captain in the Terminator armor, and I got my Primaris Librarian. They both have a CP spent on them to get relics. One is the Relic Blade for the Captain, and one is the Reliquary of Gathalamor for the Librarian. Into my troop choice, I have a squad of intercessors running the auto bolt rifles. Second squad of intercessors running auto bolt rifles, and the sergeant has power fist, and that sergeant has a chain sword. And then I got my attack marines with a heavy weapon for a rocket launcher in the back, and I also have flamer for my special weapon. Moving into my elites, I have my Terminators, all chain fists, except for the captain who's got his power sword, and then the fancy Ripper gun that they have. Also have my aggressors who are in the midst of being painted, so at least they got their orange on the shoulder pads and a little bit of color on them elsewhere. And then I also have my Centurion Assaults, who are running their flamers and their siege drills, I think it's called. And then I got my Dreadnought, who's running twin laser, or no, twin autocannon, or twin heavy gun, basically. And then for my heavy sports, or my fast attack, sorry, I got my bikes. I did not bring suppressors this time. I'm not super pleased with them. They're going to sit out, and I'll see how things go with them. And then for my heavy support, I have my Eliminators, and last but not least, that Land Raider Achilles. Hopefully he'll stay alive a little bit longer this game. We'll see what we can do. I'm running Master Artisans and Long Range Marksman for my 2 successor tactics. Trying to get use out of it before GW nerfs Master Artisans down. But anyways, 2,000 points, Salamanders, successor.
So here's the table. We have a brand new table set we are playing with. Some amazing looking terrain, a nice mat to play on, so a nice ruined cityscape. We are playing Priority Target GT 2020 mission packs. We've already rolled off for deployment zones and everything just because there's some extra placement and setup for this particular mission. So there's 5 objectives in total. After finding out who's the attacker and defender, you can actually move some of the objectives. So he is the defender. He chose this zone over there. It's an angle deployment there and there. So I got to move the first objective. I pulled mine back. There's one in the center that we can't move. He moved this one. It's on the bottom floor, but we just put it above. And then he got to move 2, and then I got to move the final one. So right over here, he pulled this one back towards his zone so he can easily control it. And then over this way, I moved it into the middle because I have a nice fire line right through here. Because I'll actually be able to set up on that side of the table. So for secondaries, I chose grind them down, engage on all fronts, and priority targets. So that's the mission secondary. So we each pick an objective. I chose 5. He chose 6 over on that end. Not that one where I have that nice line of sight through the middle. And if you control 1, you get 3 points. Control 2, you get 5 points. And then he chose grind them down, pierce the veil, and one of the priority targets as well. So where we've already rolled off, I know normally we show the table, then we find out who is picking what deployment zone, but again, we had to do that for the particular mission type. We'll come back after we set up and see who's going to go first. Really looking for my drop pods to come down turn 1. So we have finished deploying. So let's look at the Ultramarine, Ultramarine lines over here. So my Rhino and half attack squad are there with the missile launcher. Got a nice lane down this way. My scouts deployed enough right here. My plan, and the plan, is to get first turn and zoom the Rhino up, block him out. I measure it so even if his bikes come up, I'm going to guarantee myself that objective for the first turn. Over this way, I have my Predator and my Razorback with 5 combat squad guys, the other half of that unit inside there with the plasma weapons. I got line of sight up to a few of the things over this way, along with the Predator, who has line of sight down at the Dreadnought and potentially some other things after some movement. So we'll see. Inside my building here, my captain's right at the corner to give his buffs out to everywhere where it needs to be. And then I have my assault team ready to move up. Centurions right there. They'll be able to get line of sight down on these guys first turn, but if he moves this way or this way, I have some other things I can fire in on them with these guys. So should be interesting. Tigurius is tucked in there as well to toss out some buffs. And then over this way, we've got a unit of intercessors ready to march down the corner. Attack squad getting ready to jump on that objective. Terminator's there to give them some support. Coming around, we have the Dreadnought, that dirty old Land Raider. Intercessor squad down the lane here, ready to kind of move where they need to, so a little bit of flexibility with that. The bike squad over there to zoom over with the captain and another attack squad. Vindicare and the snipers sitting comfortably in there with some nice lines of sight on my Devastators and vice versa. In reserves, I have my drop pod with the 5 Stern Guard. In my other drop pod, I took 5 of my Tactical Marines and 5 of the company veterans. So as I understand it, it says during deployment you can split them up. Either way, I would have only brought a unit of 5 TAC Marines. So if I have that wording mixed up, correct me. Again, very new to Marines in this edition. Well, actually, I haven't played for almost 2 editions. I'm just getting my feet wet, as you know, with the Ultramarines. And then in his reserves, he has the Centurions and Aggressors. That's what I want to say. So now, the moment that we've both been waiting for to see who gets first turn. Oh no. Yes, the Ultramarines go first. Now, funny thing is, we actually re-recorded a clip earlier. Before we deployed, we rolled to go first. I won it, and I was all pumped, and I was like, wait, we haven't deployed yet. And I said that didn't count. So we redeployed.
Fate.
It is fate. So we'll come back after the Ultramarines come in. Turn 1. Alright, that's the end of Ultramarines turn 1 movement. So these guys stayed still to get ready to fire a rocket down the way at those intercessors. Scouts moved up, just shifted just to kind of get back and hold, make it harder for him to come at them. The tank moved up, got a 5-inch with my advance, completely blocked out that zone so nothing can come through and charge the scouts. That's going to guarantee me that objective first turn, which is very nice. Then over this way, I was going to go for this objective. I could have got it if my guys came out. Probably should have done that. But I only need hold 1 and hold 2, and I'm pretty sure I'll have hold more unless he commits some things elsewhere. This drop pod came in. These guys are on the ground floor. I just set them there, just easier. I'll probably move them in a moment. These guys came out touching the terrain there. They had enough room to do it, so I have line of sight on all the intercessors. Plus the Centurions have a line through the side. There. Captain moved over to ensure that everyone in this zone has buffs except the Razorback. Had to forgo it. Assault squad moved up and advanced. Just to try and get away from the sniper over there. But this squad moved up. I had to, again, forego of them staying still to position my Centurion. So a little bit of deployment error, but on a whole, not too bad. And there was a pocket in the back corner here for the drop pod to come down. And the stern guard came out. And then for the drop pods, I don't know the official ruling, but I just count the hull. I don't really count the fins, just the hull around. Or else it's just a huge zone, and we're both okay with that. So that's it for movement. We're going to come back after Psychic and Shooting for Ultramarine. All right, so that is the end of the Psychic and Shooting. So pretty solid turn for the Ultramarines. So Psychic Powers getting a command point back, and then also upping his toughness just in case he gets shot at. Everything else is pretty safe. The Devastators took out the Eliminators with one volley of a plasma cannon. I wish I kind of split fire with the last cannons them, but can't plan for those things. Centurions moved down. I used transhuman physiology. Huge, absolutely huge, or else this entire unit would have been decimated by the Centurions alone. I rolled a ton of 3s, ton of 2s, actually like no 1s. Then these guys came in and used the Sons of Gilliman rule to reroll 1s, reroll 2 1s, followed by 2 more 1s. So 2 guys died. They helped chip the unit down though. He rolled for morale. He was debating on... we just did morale now because there's a single charge that's going to be made, but the morale doesn't really matter, just so we didn't forget. Rolled a 1. I took out this squad here with the... between this squad, this thing, and them failing morale on the last guy. Blew up the Dreadnought thanks to the Predator, getting his 2 auto hits with his stratagem and the twin las cannon. Drop pod landed here, as you saw before. These guys fired in and whiffed. Rolled 3 1s and a 2. Spent the CP to reroll one of them. And missed. And then, or sorry, it hit and then rolled 2 1s, I think it was, to wound. So, unfortunate on that end, but all in all, very good start to the turn. I am going to try and charge with the Stern Guard. So we'll come back and see if that happens. Actually, you know what? Just for a little excitement, we'll roll and see if I make it. Are you going to Overwatch? I'm going to save the CP. Doesn't want to burn it. Very confident. Let's see. So here we go. If I make this, it's going to be bad. So 1 and a 2, I'm going to spend the CP. Because if I make this charge, he's in a bad position with that tank. I'm not rolling over there again. I'm rolling over here. This has been the hot zone. No. Fortunate. Yeah, he's sweating a bit there. He didn't see it. But all right, we'll come back after Salamander's turn 1 movement. So they got hit hard, but not hard enough to call them out. There's still lots of reinforcements coming after the first turn. They just basically got to spend a turn getting set up. But we'll see what damage they can hit back the Ultramarines with. The end of the movement for Salamander's turn 1. So over this side, the captain moved up, getting within 6 inches of the Land Raider who shimmied forward. These guys stayed still to make use of the rocket, not to get any hit penalties. Then over on this side, the Intercessors moved in to deal with the, not Stern Guard, the Company Veterans. Terminators moved up to grab that objective. Bikes moved back to deal with the Stern Guard. Hopefully they take them out. And then the Intercessors moved into that piece of terrain, getting ready to shoot at the Centurions. They're just accepting there's going to be a volley of fire coming back, but he's going to try and do as much damage with them while they're there. So we'll come back after the Psychic... Oh, speaking of Psychic, the Librarian hiding in the shadows there by the Terminator. So we'll come back after Psychic and Shooting for the Salamanders and see if they can return the favor to the Ultramarines after that first turn volley. Salamanders turn 1 Shooting. So over this way, these guys are dropped down to 1 left. I'm rolling some decent saves in there, being in the cover. These guys here withered the storm from the Intercessors down in there, but there's still going to be some charges coming ahead. They have a ton of attacks, so it can easily take care of those guys. These Intercessors and the Vindicare dropping down the Devastator guys 2 models. We just rolled them morale now since nothing else will impact them, and they are good. Then back this way, the bikes came up, took out 2 of the... Oh, 1. Right, there's no guy there. 1 of the Stern Guard, so they're probably going to charge in here. We'll see. The Land Raider fired in at the Devastators, but I CP'd. I've had 1 fail, and they are still good, or else they're not going to be down. Then the Razorback got hit. I rolled a 6 on the damage. Missed with 3 shots, so very fortunate there. Used my stratagem to ignore some wounds, but only got 1 of them passed. So still in my second bracket. I was hoping to keep them in the first one. But that's it for Shooting and Psychic. Oh, and for Psychic powers there, they are +1 Or sorry, they are mine. Like they have fire shield. Is that right?
Yeah,
fire shield. Okay, they have that on them. So we'll come back after the charge. There's going to be a couple going through. Didn't roll morale for him yet, so there's still a good chance he could run potentially, but there could be a charge coming at him. So let's see what happens. That ends Salamander's turn 1. So over this way, the captain made the charge, chipped off a couple of wounds from the rhino. But the big thing, though, wasn't about doing the damage. It was getting in to block that rhino from moving up and charging and just holding that land raider there, because that was my plan. Now I have to come around, and even still getting around, I wouldn't even make a charge. Not that I can even charge, because I'm going to be falling back. Over this way, the scout bikers came in, killed one of those guys. No damage returned from my end. He passed morale. The intercessors charged in here, took out one of them, rolled really poorly on the hit rolls, but the sergeant managed to punch one out with his power fist. Did 1 damage in return. That's it there. So that ends turn 1. Score is 3-9 in favor of the Ultramarines, getting all 3 of my secondaries. He held priority target with this objective here. Killed... no, he didn't kill any units, but very close. Like, killing that one, these guys are almost dead, and I mean, I withered a ton with these guys. So a lot of units chipped down, and even these guys back here are weak. So setting yourself up for some easy grinded down targets, but we'll come back after Ultramarines turn 2 movement. That is the end of Ultramarines turn 2 movement. In terms of objectives, I got all 3 of my primaries, so scoring 15 there. I'll have engage on all fronts as well, and I'll have priority target. Potentially have 5 points if I can clear off the Terminators and that Librarian. Tough to do, but maybe it'll happen. The Stern Guard disengaged over here, so I can shoot those bikes. And over this way, the Rhino disengaged. I wasn't sure if I should or not, but I figured if I can chip that guy down, he has some stratagems that he can ensure that he could probably get through that Rhino this turn. So we'll see what happens. At least the Predator moved back to negate the strategic reserves coming in anywhere but back there. So that pretty much covers my whole backfield on this side. And then over this way, the attack guy moved back. Used my buff increase to 9 inches. So everyone right here is covered. Attack squad got out to grab the middle objective with the Razorback. And then I also put these guys into the Devastator Doctrine. So that's it for movement. We'll come back after Psychic. Marines shooting has ended. So definitely didn't go over like I would hoped, but I still think I did lots of damage. Lost both my plasma dudes here. I overcharged to kill the Terminators. It was either overcharged or these guys were going to come to get me. So I risked it for the biscuit, and it did not go over well. So all the Terminators were killed off between all these guys right here. Killed off 1. Centurions killed off 3 more. And then fired in at these guys. He used transhuman physiology. That is huge. I would have wiped that whole squad. That's a crucial stratagem for the Salamanders of this game. That's the story so far. So there's 4 left between these guys firing as well, and the Predator firing at them. Could see 1 through the window. So just really trying to trip them down. I accepted that the tank, I can't do a whole lot to it as of yet. Over this way, snipers dropping in 2 mortal wounds on the captain. And then bolters from here taking off another wound. Rocket didn't do anything. The tank fired in, hopefully trying to kill off one of them, but failed. So lots of damage across the board. We're going to come back. We got some assaults to make. So we'll see what happened when we come back after the charges. That ends Ultramarines turn 2. So the Assault Marines came in, spent a point on Hammer of Wrath, took out the Terminator, because I sent 4 guys that way, got a 12-inch charge, and they multi-charge. Then they came in, fought the Librarian, took him down to 2 wounds. He killed off 1. I fought again. It was risky, but I ended up taking him out, which is going to completely get rid of Pierce the Veil opportunity. Plus, I had this priority objective. So in having that objective, I control both mines, so I get 5 points for that. I did kill 2 units. That was the other big reason I had to do that. Couldn't quite chip through them, or the Stern Guard couldn't pull through or do anything. So I killed 2 units for grinding down. So he'll probably negate that. Very good chance there's a lot of weak units floating around. So, but that's it for Ultramarines turn 2. We'll see how the Salamanders can hit back. Definitely didn't hit them as hard as I wanted to, but this is their opportunity to take the game back. That's the end of Salamander's movement. So the Centurions at the end of the phase and the reinforcement portion, they came on over here. The Intercessors just chilled in there just to get some shots around and to potentially him or the Assault dudes, depending on where they need to go. Bikes move back to grab that objective. Sniper obviously stayed where he is. I left Tigurius wide in the open, completely forgetting that he can shoot characters. Again, where I play Tyranids, I don't really care about that stuff. And really, like, this is my, I guess, third game with the Ultramarines, so I forgot about that. So if he dies, you can laugh at me, but he's not gonna die, hopefully. The tank came over this way. He's trying to draw my Predator around, kind of play a cat and mouse game there. Then over here, the captain moved into the middle, just so he can pick and choose what needs to be done. And then over here, over this way, the Intercessors moved up to the middle, potentially getting ready to multi-charge in there if they have to, or see what happens to the Razorback. There are some multi-Meltas right there. So that's it for movement. We'll come back after shooting. That is the end of shooting for Salamanders. So the aggressors came in between these two guys. One lone Assault Marine, Withered the Storm. But he still has that objective. This guy was taken out, so that's 1 kill. The Stern Guard got popped. They have just officially been cut from the list, working on some Indomitus models. So the Scouts took out the veterans. Over here, though, my Tac Marines Withered the Storm, and so did my Razorback, tanking 2 Melta shots, taking 2 wounds from that, thanks to the stratagem of ignoring wounds on a 5+. So, tight situation in the middle. These guys dropped down to 2 guys. One of the Scouts got taken out, and the captain is going to spring in there. So all he has to do is kill 1 unit in the fight, or assault phase, or sorry, the charge phase. I'm getting all these mixed up. Yeah, just kill 1, and then he gets 3 points for that. So big thing here is if he can make the charge in at this guy and take him out, or either make the charge with these guys, he's going to get a priority objective back, which is huge, because if not, I'll be able to score 5 points. My turn. So we'll come back after the charging and fighting. Alright, so that's it. The end of Salamander's turn 2. So pushing back with these guys, easily taking out that Assault Marine, getting him grinded down. In the middle here, a bit of a different story. My attack squad withering a ton of damage and only taking 2 wounds on 6 saves. So doing well there. A Scout lives on, facing down this captain. Not good. And then the Rhino was untouched there as well. So that's it for turn 2. We're going to come back after Ultramarines movement. Turn 3. So that's the end of Ultramarines movement. So I got a lot of my army killed here, so he's got me on the back foot. Points wise, I'm doing well, but I have a potential for lots of damage this turn. So Tigurius got an 11 to come over this way, and he can smite in at the captain. So hopefully going to take him out. Everyone backed up here. The tank is still in range of that objective. It will be his unless I kill them off, but I mean I have plasmas there. The captain move up, so I have my nice 6-inch bubble covering everything I need to. I won't be able to get these guys this turn, but next turn my Centurions will have a line in them no matter where they go. So should be okay for that. And that's really it for movement. We'll come back after Psychic and the Ultramarines, Psychic and Shooting. So incredibly good turn for the Ultramarines. Tigurius came over, zapped the captain out of here. Cleared off these guys with the plasmas very convincingly. Dropped the sniper down to 2 wounds, so making lots of involves, so good there. Killing all but one of the bikes as well, I was hoping to take them out. Rolled very well. The Predator shot at them. I blew my last CP, so we're both out of CP, but he'll get one back here shortly. And he rolled 2 6s and then a 1, and then I took out one of them. So a little bit of retribution there for him. So in total, I have 43 points. I killed 3 units for grind it down, so he has to kill at least 3 to negate mine in my turn. And then we'll move into Salamander's turn 3. He still has his priority objective, and that one as well, where I wasn't able to clear it, so be outscoring me in primaries for turn 3. So, Centurions have arrived, coming in over here, so it's a big gamble. They have to make the charge against that Predator. He has 1 command point to save, but then there's also some other things that have to go right, because if he gets in there, kills the Predator, that's a big threat gone. And then he gets 3 models on there. I only have 2 on this side, which gets him 5 points for vital, and he needs every bit of points he can get. Over this way, the Land Raider has to kill the Scout or to deny it. He is in range of that. The objective's just been moved around. He's on the bottom, just if anyone missed that. So he's going to fire out of there. The aggressors moved up to, they got line of sight on the tack squad, just barely, but enough to do the damage they need to do. So then it gives me a choice of what do these Centurions do come my turn. So a few things have to line up perfectly, but we'll see what happens after. Oh, and the bike, he just hid there just to guarantee that he stays alive if the Razorback doesn't get killed, because it could zip ahead, but we'll see. So we'll come back after the shooting and charging. Salamander's turn 3. So literally he couldn't have had a more perfect turn. The luck started heavy in the Ultramarines and the scales are tipping. So these guys made their charge, took the Predator, and that's honestly not even the... I don't care about that. He blew up the Razorback, I rolled a 6, it exploded, and killed these guys, did 2 wounds to my captain. So that was... I think that was a swing. If that didn't die because I had that objective, that was, in my opinion, the swing. These guys charged the drop pod, so they're safe there to chip off the last 2 wounds on him. And the Scout died over here. So that's it. So score is still in favor of the Ultramarines, but there's going to be some heavy primaries coming in. There's 2 turns left, so I got to deny a ton of primaries here. Hopefully stack up some secondaries. So that's it. We'll move into Ultramarines turn 4. Just played out the Ultramarine turn, just where everything is coming to a close very fast. So what happened? The tack squad went over, grabbed me that objective. The Rhino charged in because he burnt his last CP. Tigurius waited here. I know the assassin can shoot him, but if I just stay there, that'll probably die in the shooting, but the next turn I can come in and deny him for the final turn, which is huge and what needs to happen. Killed 2 of the Centurions, passed his morale, but that was enough. Where these Devastators are in range of the objective, so got my 3 points for priority objective. And then I charged him with the Centurions. Might not have been the best idea, but I needed to deny these guys shooting for the final turn. Or sorry, turn 4, so at least 1 more turn. And then they attacked there, took 1 Devastator, or sorry, yeah, 1 Devastator Centurion down to 1 wound. And that was it. Everyone else just tried to pick off little things there, but nothing happened. So in total, I have 49 points. Didn't get anything for Grind It Down. But we'll come back after Salamander's turn 4. That's it for Salamander's turn 4. We just went through it really quick. So what happened? The Devastator Centurion killed my Devastators. Over this way, the Rhino got melted by the Land Raider. Sniper took off 3 wounds on Tigurius. So he's down to 2 wounds over there. Then over this way, 2 of the Centurions were taken down. Some very good rolling by the aggressors. And I took 1 wound down on 1 aggressor. So and then I passed morale. So that's it. Score as of right now is 43-49 for the Ultramarines. So we'll come back after turn 5. It's going to be a tight game right down to the wire. So didn't look that way at the start, but great comeback. The end of the game, it was so down to the wire we completely forgot to even film the last clip. So here's what happened. The entire game came down to, we'll move this so you can see him, the Centurion moving away from these guys, firing at him. So I had 2 command points. I regenerated 1 finally with the captain. I hadn't done that since the first turn. And the last cannon went through, blew up 1 guy, easy. Then the rocket went through. I used my auto hit with that one. All of them hit. Or sorry, I got 2 of them. And only 1 wounded. I had no more CP. He had a 6-up save because I also spent another CP to make him into the Devastator. And he rolled a 6 for the save. And then just for fun, we rolled the damage to see. And I got 2 damage, so it would have killed him. So with that being said, the game is a Salamander's victory. The first victory for them on the channel. They got 62 points to 54. Had I have killed that guy, that would have gave me, that would have denied his hold more, which would have actually put me ahead. And also, sorry, and denied his points for priority as well. So, huge victory for the Salamanders. And also, they got grinded down. We just quickly played it out. They killed that drop pod, and Tigurius got splatted by the Land Raider. But that was to be expected. So, fantastic end to the game. He was very... We started this last night and ended. Was not happy about the first turn, and then they came back. So fantastic results by the Salamanders. Really, I think on a whole, the only error I would say you made was putting the intercessors forward too early. You should have played a little bit more defensive with them. Aside from that, it was a well-played game. And another thing that you could have done was pulling this dude back earlier. Like we were talking about that after he stayed to shoot the Rhino, because he could have pulled back, grabbed that objective, and forced me into the middle. But I think it was well played on both fronts. My turn 2 was really poor, which gave him a chance to come back. Had my turn went a little bit more average, it would have been heavily in the Ultramarines' favor. But on a whole, though, very well played. The Razorback cost me it right there, I think. So losing those troops. But that's all thanks to those Melta. So good battle. Tons more to come. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out some of the other battle reports coming up.